You'd be surprised what comes up in conversation when paleontologists spend long days in the field. Some of it is deep time in ancient ecosystems. Some of it is, well, trying to remember our fourth favorite hat. This is Fourth Favorite Hat, a look into real dig site chatter of the Montana Dinosaur Center. Each episode brings you the work, the stories, the arguments, the questions, and the odd tangents that emerge when you put scientists, shovels, fossils, and too much sun in the same place. And yes, every guest still has to answer the only question that really matters. What's your fourth favorite hat? Let's get started.
Hello, my name's Andy, and my fourth favorite hat is my Badlands of South Dakota dad cap.
Hi, I'm Bret, and my fourth favorite hat is my Lake Champlain Lake Monsters baseball cap.
Hi, I'm Bryce, and my fourth favorite hat is my Denver Zoo wide-brimmed hat.
And on today's episode of Fourth Favorite Hat, we're going to be talking about our museum's exhibits, what we've got on display, what we have planned for the future, as well as likely get off topic and talk about some other museums we're fans of, is the nature of our podcast after all. I'm going to start with my favorite thing that we have on display at our museum. Our museum has the first ever discovered baby dinosaur fossils, and that's neat as all get out. In a sort of central display piece in a glass case, you can see a baby Maiasaura in all its glory. And these used to be kept in a coffee can. We've had it centered so that it's easy to see, but there's easily something more eye-catching. The babies are underneath a replica of a large dinosaur.
It takes up most of our museum. Probably about half of our gallery is occupied by a giant Seismosaurus, life-size model, 1-to-1. It's the world's largest dinosaur by length. There's kind of three ways you can be the largest. You can be the tallest, the longest, or the heaviest. Seismosaurus is the largest by length. Seismosaurus, maybe kind of a dubious genus, at least a valid species.
I'm under the impression it's a Diplodocus, but a different one.
Yeah, but it is quite large. I think that most of our museums, or about half of our museum's gallery space, is occupied by this huge dinosaur. It wraps kind of all throughout the whole building. Sight to see. Definitely one of my favorite exhibits in our museum.
Oh yeah, or just kind of fun because we had to kind of cheat to put it in there because it stands taller than the building normally and longer than the building, so we really had to kind of scrunch it in.
Yeah, she's very much curled up in a way you probably wouldn't have seen dinosaurs of any kind, really, walking along. But she's in there, and that counts for something.
That's true.
She's a fun one. Normally, we either mold and cast fossils, meaning you take an original fossil, make a negative space of it, the mold, and then fill that in, the cast, and you get a hyper-detailed replica. Seisma was hand-carved. It took 4 years. She is made out of airplane epoxy and styrofoam.
I also like this little second fact where technically a second one of them was created, but in order for ours, the original one, to maintain the title as the largest scientifically accurate model, it was made to be like 1 inch shorter in the tail. So ours is still technically the biggest, even though there's two.
A win's a win.
The second one, if anyone's wondering, is in Atlanta at a hotel.
I actually didn't know that. I've been trying to figure out where it was.
Well, now you know.
Yeah.
Don't ask me which hotel because I don't know.
Oh, well, you defeated my next question.
They ended up painting that one matte black, or did they make it kind of shiny? I forget.
I'm not sure. I've never seen it.
We should go to Atlanta and find it.
I mean, I'm down to go to Atlanta.
You guys doing anything right now?
Well,
No.
I'm recording this.
Yes, and on to our next exhibit. Great segue, Bret.
Thank you.
We also have one of 3 individual Maiasaura, so one of our hadrosaurs, that was found by itself. Normally, Maiasaura are found in massive herds, so it's really hard to tell whose bone is whose. This is actually the specimen that allowed us to finally estimate how large an adult Maiasaura could get up to. We're estimating roughly between 23 to 26 feet long. Individual variation is going to play into it, and that's because this one was found by itself. It's also got a very complete skull, only missing, is it 6 bones?
I think, yeah, 6 or 7, I think I remember hearing.
Around there. Dinosaur skulls aren't as heavily fused as mammal skulls, so they tend to fall apart in death. In fact, if you see a completed dinosaur skull in a museum, it's likely a held together instance of it, a replica, or a very, very weirdly preserved case. Rapid burial would be needed to hold it together.
Yeah, very, very commonly you'll only find like a single piece of a skull when you're actually out digging. You'll find a fragment of it, and then you'll find another fragment of it, and then you'll have to kind of piece it back together later.
Well, I think it would be very cool. It would take a whole table to lay out our Maiasaurus skull, whereas a cast takes up much less space and shows you the bones altogether. We sort of had to concede that point. Along with this specimen, though, it was one of the 3 intact brain cases we have, so we were able to 3D print what the inside of their skull looked like.
Oftentimes you hear about dinosaurs as having really small, like peanut-sized brains, the stereotype Stegosaurus, but the brain on Maiasaura is actually pretty decent size. They were pretty intelligent animals, had a lot of complex group behavior and social planning ability, which is really, really neat. Was one of the things that helped revolutionize how paleontologists view dinosaurs, is looking at Maiasaura behavior.
I mean, it
Outside of
was
just like nesting behavior, there's also evidence for hadrosaurs doing these multiple large-scale migrations. So there's a lot of social behavior, a lot of herd dynamics they had going on.
it's argued to be the first evidence of behavior in the dinosaur fossil record. You know, there's going to be contention to that claim. You can say dinosaur footprints are, but in terms of parental behavior, it's a pretty strong contendant to that title.
Yeah, I mean, I struggle to find anything else. I mean, technically there were earlier fossils that could have been like the Oviraptor, but that wasn't attributed to it until they found Maiasaura.
Yeah, that one they attributed as the opposite of parental behavior.
Yeah, that's why they call him Oviraptor. Oviraptor means egg thief. The original idea was that it was crouched over a nest of eggs that it was about to eat, but those are actually Oviraptor eggs, and it was likely attempting to protect them.
Oops.
A little bit of slander now on its name.
Yeah.
To be fair, it still has a beak that could eat eggs real easily.
Oh, probably 8 eggs.
Oh, for
Just not
sure.
those
And
specific ones.
basically, anything that's a carnivore at any capacity is totally happy eating eggs if it can get the chance. It's like the purest protein you can get.
I remember they were a very good source of DNA points in the creature stage of Spore.
They really were.
But then, like, that was the quickest way to get an animosity status with a rival herd, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah.
Andy, what was your favorite stage of Spore?
I mean, Cellar Creature, those were just fun.
That's fair.
I
Those
mean,
ones
those
are
are the
really
two
good.
best.
For me, it's like either those two or Space sometimes.
Space is
too.
fun.
I think the civilization stage definitely kind of sucks. It's
Civilization,
not nearly as
you
thought
could
out, I felt
you
like.
could speed run it if you just built a navy.
Oh yeah, and like if you did the economic route and you just like bought everyone out, you could win like super fast.
So you heard it here first, listeners. Go play Spore.
It's a great game. It's on Steam.
It really is.
Along with people who will talk about Spore in our museum, that's us. You can see the cast of our largest jacket ever pulled out of the ground. The jackets being what we use to remove fossils. We call it the Blob. Stands for block of bones. It was also found by 2 guys named Robert, so Bob is just the best name for it. And the reason we casted it is because it's a whole host of different dinosaurs, not just different individuals, but different types, all stuck in one watering hole. And it asks a lot of questions, such as, why didn't they leave the watering hole? What happened?
Andy, what do you think happened?
Well, it's a great question. And I think what happened is that they probably used laser vision to fight each other. And that's why we don't see any killing wounds, is because they were instantly cauterized.
Okay. So what you're saying is during this game of Spore, they had the Galactic Adventures DLC, which allowed them to have equipped laser technology for the space stage.
Yeah, I think that's how the Blob was formed.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense.
In truth, we don't fully know. Hypotheses such as the water was bad is a phenomenal one. We don't see any pre-mortem or perimortem injuries, meaning before death or during death, but we do find post-mortem damage to the bones. Scavenging. There were multiple death events. Poisoned water is a good hypothesis, but a hard one to test given how far away we are from it in time.
Now, kind of also interesting about the scavenging marks. They aren't just on what you would expect, not just on the hadrosaurs that are present there. Oh, of course, there still are some. There's also scavenging marks on a young Daspletosaurus that was also there. There's a little bit of a Daspletosaur and Daspletosaur cannibalism going on.
Food's food.
Yeah, it didn't look like they hunted each other, as Andy said, so it was just kind of meat.
Opportunistic cannibalism.
It records a fun story. While we've prepped the fossils out of the rock, we wanted to record that story that it's telling, that interesting science behind it.
It's also a great visual representation of just how mixed up all the bones get. If you go in there and you see it there on the wall, all those different parts for those different dinosaurs are just kind of scattered, all cattywampus all over each other.
That's a good word.
Thank you.
It is.
It's a very fun word to say.
Yeah. What's interesting too about how scattered they are, watering holes aren't known for their strong currents of water. And even so, the sediments, you can see the sediments themselves aren't scattered. It's not crazy layering. So maybe it was just the movement of dinosaurs churning up the bones.
Maybe they're just getting dragged around by scavengers.
That was, yeah, it's probably that one. But maybe aliens came down afterwards and picked them up and dropped them again.
They didn't get involved until the pyramids.
Oh, sorry. Dude, speaking of Spore, when I first was in creature stage and there was a random UFO just watching me for a bit, that blew my mind.
Sorry, I blanked. What did you say? I didn't. I just like zoned out.
No, that's fine. We'll move on. Some more fun things we have on display is a active jacket filled with fossilized eggs. The Two Medicine Formation is one of 7 worldwide with mass dinosaur egg deposits. Believe it or not, eggs are fragile. Same with the baby fossils. They are fossilized in a very similar method made possible by the high calcium concentration of our rock. So you can see what it looks like to prep out fossil eggs. Spoiler alert, it's slow. You're not able to use mechanical tools on them because then your eggs turn into powder. No one wants powdered eggs.
Not the kind of powdered eggs you can even eat.
I mean, you technically could.
I
Just
mean,
probably wouldn't be ideal.
yeah.
I don't think it would taste good. Wouldn't be very
Probably
healthy.
not. No.
I mean, Bryce, how much calcium are you getting? Maybe you need the extra calcium.
I don't know. I've been drinking a lot of milk recently, so I'm probably okay on calcium.
You're probably fine then.
You milk drinking Imperial.
I mean, that
Do you
was
not
the
drink
correct
milk
side in
ever, Andy?
Skyrim.
Huh?
You never drink milk?
No, I do, but like not in an Imperial way.
Oh, okay.
I see.
So how would you describe your milk drinking then?
I guess like a Nord, because they're not inherently all members of the Stormcloaks. But
What's wrong with the Stormcloaks, Andy? I don't think I've played that game. Could you illustrate?
they've got some takes I don't agree with. But something I do agree with is that we have our lab visible for guests so that you can see us working on other projects besides the eggs.
Yeah, lots of fun stuff going on in there.
You can see
You can
people
see
like preparing new fossils from our current dig site. You can also see some puzzle time going on where people are taking these little tiny pieces and trying to glue them back together again to make something that looks like a bone.
I love to come up to Bryce when he's working on the Hadrosaur pubes we have, and like Robin from the Adam West Batman series, where he would just like shout things. I'll go, puzzling pubis!
never heard you do that.
I
I think
don't
he's
Something
done
you
it
do
at least
often?
7 times.
I didn't say I do it often. I said I like it.
Okay,
It
that's
is pretty
fair.
good.
I like
Yeah,
4th
some
of
of this-
July. That only happens once a year, though. It's not often.
That's true.
I mean, how old are you, Andy? You're like 28, right?
Yeah, now they know I'm in my late 20s.
I could tell.
Is it the fact that we have a
This-
podcast?
It was the
It's because
Spore
we're talking about
references.
Spore.
Yeah,
That came out in 2000. That came out like 2008, my guy.
that came out
No.
before 2008.
It didn't. No.
Really?
No. Spore release. Yeah, that was September 4th, 2008.
Really? I thought it was 2006.
I think that's when they were releasing like the pre-alpha demos of it, where they had the aquatic stage that wasn't cell stage before they actually released it.
And much like Spore had things in the works before it was released, we have things in the works that aren't released yet.
It's true. In fact, some of those are actually kind of on display in one of the cabinets in front of that lab. Speaking about Hadrosaur pubes, there's actually quite a few of them there. The site has very many, and it's kind of special. As we kind of talked about in the previous talk, our site is multi-tactic. So there are several different animals that have all been found within the same site, which isn't super common given the different pubes. So for Hadrosaurs, pubis, which is the front facing of the hip bones, the shape of the blade on it is diagnostic to the tribal level. A tribe is just a fancy term for a group of guys who are pretty closely related, more closely related than just like a family. So like, it's within Hadrosauridae, it's a bit smaller than that. From these pubes, we can see that there are at the very least 4 different varieties of Hadrosaur are present at our site, which is very exciting. And there are skull material too. But the skull material is still in the works for being prepared and researched, so that's kind of not quite reportable yet.
Yeah, it also wouldn't make sense in the pubis case.
Probably not.
Unless we were like, look at this weird pubis and then just put a jugal in there.
Yeah,
To
the
deceive the
practical
people.
joke.
Yeah, it's not really a good exhibit. It's just lying.
That exhibit is super cool. Anyone, even without like a paleontological background, can really look in that and see the differences between them and like instantly recognize that they're different. I think that's a really cool thing. You can just easily spot the difference between them.
We're also in the process of setting up an exhibit about Medusaceratops. This fella's not from the Two Medicine Formation, which is what we focus in. It's from a neighbor formation, though, the Judith River. With it, I mean, it's a ceratopsian. I was gonna say a very fun dinosaur, but that's also kind of redundant, because it's dinosaurs. They're all very fun.
Dinosaur.
Yeah, but Medusaceratops, I just love the story of how they thought it was a Cosmoceratops, I believe, originally. No, yes, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
No, they thought it was Albertoceratops, and they just assumed it was a deeply deformed skull, and then they found more of it, and they're like, oh, you're just different. And that's always fun. It's also named after the Greek monster Medusa.
Is it because like the little horns on the top of the frill kind of look like snakes?
Yes, that is the reasoning.
I kind of guessed, but I didn't know the actual answer, so I just wanted to go for it.
I mean, its species name is Medusaceratops lokii, Loki being the Norse god of mischief. And the reason it's the species name is because they thought it was something else for the longest time. So it's like, haha, it's been deceptive.
That's kind of funny because there's also a Loki Ceratops, isn't there?
Yeah, there's now Loki Ceratops, which was discovered pretty recently, and they're also pretty closely
Pretty closely
related.
related, yeah.
Yeah.
Loki Ceratops is interesting. It's kind of showing asymmetry in the skull. And what is it with the Judith River and tricksy fellas coming from it?
I think that's pretty much every formation. Like every formation's got to have like at least like one dinosaur that tricked somebody at some point.
I mean, yeah,
There's plenty of that in the two medicine as well, you know.
I reckon. We got Ricardo Estia.
Yeah, I mean, well that one's truthful. That's my guy. He would never lie. He's from everywhere.
Yes, he's Mr. Worldwide, like Pitbull.
Like Pitbull.
Yeah.
A favorite Ricardo Estia sighting, Brett?
A favorite Ricardo Estia sighting? I mean,
Yeah.
when I actually got to go see Ricardo Estia in person, that was super cool.
At the Dinosaur Provincial Park Museum?
Yes, at the one in Dinosaur Provincial Park. They have all known Ricardo Estia bones are there. Just one tooth.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are there more bones than just the
No,
teeth?
it's only teeth.
Okay.
They had one tooth on display. That's all of them. That's known. It was looking good.
And to wrap up our exhibits, off of the main hall, there is a Cenozoic room, which I personally would like to expand. The Cenozoic is the age of time after the non-avian dinosaurs go extinct. It's 65 million years worth of time. A lot of fun things happen in that time. You get
Typically called the Age of Mammals because we have a bunch of mammals.
Yeah. And in that room, we have a lot of skulls to do what we call comparative anatomy. Bryce, you're the biologist. What's comparative anatomy?
Comparative anatomy is when you look at the same bone on different animals and compare the same bones to make up the thing. So for the skull, basically everything that you see around you, everything that falls into a group called Tetrapoda, as long as it's not an insect or like a worm or something, and all those guys have basically the same bones in the skull. However, these different bones often occupy different shapes in order to facilitate different function. You can look at like a cat or a dog or a whale or Komodo dragon, and they all have roughly the same skull bone. It's just they are in different shapes. And you can compare those different bones to kind of see how these animals are different.
I will say Bryce listed a bunch of skulls that we do have at the museum. Whale is not one of them. I don't want anybody to get their hopes up.
Maybe one day, probably not.
Not a lot of
Our,
whales in Montana.
well, we also need our expansion grant fully funded if we're going to get whale bones on display.
We can get like an old whale. We get Pakicetus. Can we get Pakicetus?
I guess he'd fit.
Yeah, I mean, there's smaller whales.
Are we arguing that Pakicetus has a Montana relative?
Probably not. And Pakicetus also looks more like a dog thing anyway than a whale thing.
But it's a fun little room to think about. The only reason we are what we are is because dinosaurs, the non-avian dinosaurs, the not birds, went extinct. We couldn't have filled the ecological niches, stuff's job in nature, if they were already full. Anytime there's a mass extinction event, you see some really funky fellas take the place. And that's sort of just how it goes. It's a new opportunity. I will say it takes a lot of mental control because every now and then guests will ask me what comparative anatomy is. And I almost say the phrase, it's where you compare the anatomy. And it's kind of not the best to use the word in the definition.
Yeah, I mean, it gets the point across, maybe.
We also have on display instances of what other dinosaur eggs look like. These are important because you can figure out a lot about a dinosaur based off of the shape of the eggs, the layering of the egg shells, all sorts of things.
Also, you can find hints at possible nesting behaviors based off of the stress loads capable for the egg, based on its shape.
I'd be remiss if not to mention, throughout our museum is a bunch of lovely art done by the late artist David Braun. He has handled all of our murals. When you're at the museum, I encourage you to look closely at them. Each piece he has done includes what's called an anachronism, something that's out of time, basically. Some of them are easy to find, some of them are hard. I encourage you to try to find all of them. For instance, on our garage door with the Despledosaurus, you can see that anachronism pretty easily. It's that he painted a garage door opened on it for the Despledosaurus to come through. It's really cool. They're all labors of love.
They all have little nice Easter eggs. It's fun to kind of hunt around and find them. I know kids oftentimes will love to do that when they go through the museum and see if they can find all of them.
There's one I've been struggling with. I lost it and I can't re-find it. It's the Skulosaurus one. I can't find the anachronism in that one. The one by the gift shop.
I don't think I've
Those
actually
looks
seen that one myself either.
So there's not one in there because that one and the other two ones in the hallway are all part of the same one that have been now separated and put into 3 separate spots.
Oh.
So it is in one of the other ones. Those 3 are all one image that have been.
Is that then the windsock with the Montana's Darko?
Yes.
Okay.
If you actually look, you can actually see where like they kind of fit together, the 3.
Oh, I'm gonna have to do that now. I did not know that.
The art is all really, really cool.
And that's something we have ideas for, is to make more exhibits explaining just the artwork. There's a lot our museum has planned in the future. There's a lot of growth we can do. And if anybody has any suggestions, we'd be happy to hear them.
Yeah, we have a lot of cool stuff in collections that we are excited to get the chance to put on display once we have a little bit more space in our gallery.
And even with that, take some things off display and rotate them
rotate
out.
some stuff in and out. We have a lot of cool stuff planned. We'll hope you guys will stop by and see it at some point.
We hope you guys enjoyed listening to us talk about the wonderful exhibits we have for you to see at our museum. And we hope that it encourages some of you to swing by our museum in Bynum, Montana. I've been Andy.
I'm Bret.
I'm Bryce.
And we hope you guys have a wonderful day.
That's one conversation down, and there's millions more waiting for us out in the ancient dirt. If you want to join the crew on their next auditory adventure, subscribe to the Fourth Favorite Hat, the Montana Dinosaur Center podcast, available wherever podcasts are distributed. You can follow the museum on social media at TM Dinosaur Center, visit tmdinosaurcenter.org, or swing by the museum in Bynum, about 80 minutes north of Great Falls on Highway 89. Thanks for listening.